FNAF has had a lot of changes, but not all of them go unnoticed. Some remain in the shadows, ever elusive from the light that is the internet. Some happen just after release, others happen before release. Sometimes games get released unfinished, and then we beg for them to fix things and they still don't. But those changes that you may not have known about are what we're exploring today. Let's do it. And at 10 lives. I think the one thing that would have changed everything is if FNAF had a life system. Sure, you can go back and you can try the night again after you fail night 5 thanks to the continue button, but I think lives would have made the game much worse rather than better. Part of the appeal of the game is that you have one shot, and while yes, it saves what night you're on, you still need to restart everything, and I think lives would take away from that. Even though it's basically the same thing. Unless the lives would get you to continue the night that you were literally currently playing. Like if you got jump scared at 5 AM, you'd still be at 5 AM, which would kind of break the game. Especially if you use the glitch where you can continue a jump scare for a long time while still continuing the night. With the system it has, lives are kind of redundant, but we know that that was planned thanks to gameplay that was left on Scott's YouTube channel from the development days of the first FNAF game. I can't believe this game has gone from a last-ditch attempt to being featured next to God of War and Call of Duty. That's insane. And at 9, Glamrock wardrobe swap. This is something that I didn't even notice until I went into the comments of the first Security Breach trailer. Yeah. In summer of 2020, Funko leaked the designs of the action figures for Security Breach, thus leaking the designs of the animatronics. People were pissed about this, obviously, since Scott had specifically told Funko not to release anything, or at least we figured as much. Like, I don't know if he made a post about it or something like that, but like, Funko leaks things a lot. Anyway, the designs of the characters from the actual game are different to those that the action figures had. The designs are different, okay? This is most notable on Roxanne's clothing, where Scott moved the black star shapes, and on Monty's guitar, where he removed or moved the black stripes to be smaller or something like that. Chica's guitar is also a lighter blue and mostly white, as opposed to the white and darker blue of the original action figure, and the animatronics in the trailer are properly proportioned. The action figure heads, they just weird me out. Like, the normal pop heads, that's fine, but like, when it's an action figure that's supposed to be properly proportioned, I don't like it. And at 8, Immobile Freddy. The original FNAF that Scott had in mind is not at all like the one we know today. Well, it is in the sense of this is what he wanted to make, but so many ideas and mechanics were added and changed that while we know FNAF is a point and click that gets progressively harder, adding more animatronics later on in a playthrough, that wasn't what Scott had planned from the beginning. In a statement on Reddit, Scott revealed that he originally had plans to make Freddy only jump scare you if you run out of power, and that he never wanted him to leave the main stage. Eventually this changed, and we'll probably never really know why. Maybe it was because the game was too easy, or maybe he wanted to see how things would go with 2 animatronics in the same hallway, or perhaps he had Freddy moving around but got jump scared randomly and kept it in, or he just wanted to torture us more like the sadistic fool we all know and love him to be. I don't know, okay? Why did you do this to me, Scott? Why? Like, I'm kidding. Just please notice me. Sky Daddy Scott. I'm bringing it back. Sky Daddy Scott. And at 7, Mangle Vent. FNAF VR introduced the Vent Repair minigames featuring Mangle and entered in some of the scariest experiences I've been through, okay? I've played through the Mangle Vent Repair from that game on this channel actually, and it was terrifying. Now, despite my idiocy in that same video, dealing with 3 vents was fairly simple, okay? They open one by one. They open one by one, and then you kind of have to just look down them. However, it was actually planned to have another vent at the top of the elevator. So every time you see that opening and you think that Mangle may pop up there, Mangle was planned to have 4 entry points the whole time, and not one behind you, no, one above you. Can you imagine how rude of an awakening that would have been if nobody had noticed it? And how incredibly terrifying it would have been if it was implemented? It would be over. Anakin, Mangle has the high ground, and I am 100% certain that it would have caused a lot more deaths. I know that I would have died if Mangle had come through the top. Imagine. I don't want to deal with that. No, like, they're over top. They have so much more power when they are above you. I don't want to deal with it, no. And at 6, the box. The infamous box that was first released with the ending to FNAF 4, saying some things are best left forgotten for now, but that for now was kind of like a politician's campaign promise. They never really followed through, because we never really found out what was in the box. However, the community seems to think that the contents of the box have changed. Originally, it was believed to have been dream theory, since Scott originally said the community may not accept what was in the box. However, there are also multiple other theories, like the box contains the body of crying child, which we heard from matpat. It was also rumored to have been revealed in the Security Breach teaser game, like the Fury's Rage, the side-scrolling beat-em-up one. I don't think that was a thing. I can't see that, but like people were claiming that it does. If anyone has links to that, you can send them to me on like Instagram or something. Don't put them in the comments because YouTube might auto-delete links. I don't know. And apparently the box was supposed to be revealed in FNAF World, and they decided not to do it. And it was just, the box has changed a lot. Okay, all right, deal with it. Halfway through into number 5, Blacklight mode. You may not have seen the Blacklight animatronics if you aren't paying attention to the merch, but if you did pay attention to the merch, you would have seen them, okay? They released Blacklight plushies and pop figures a long time ago without any real explanation. Well, as it turns out, these alternate colored animatronics are actually for Help Wanted's Blacklight mode, or hard mode, whatever you want to call it. You don't actually get to see them unless you boundary break, since the animatronics are hidden behind the curtains that don't open in Blacklight mode, but they are still there. They also appear in the parts and service repair games, but since the room's so dark, you can't actually tell that they're Blacklight. Although technically, if you think about it, they're kind of scrapped. But they are in the game, even if you can't see them. It depends on how you want to take changed, okay? Because technically they were scrapped, but technically they're also still included, but you can't tell that they were included. I don't know. You know what? It's my list. I can do whatever I want, okay? The Blacklight animatronics were a change. That's it, okay? But you know what I want to change? I want a glitch and glitch trap pop figure, okay? That's what needs to change. That's not a thing. They need to make it a thing. Also make a vanny pop figure, please. Like a dummy thick one, specifically. Thank you. In at 4, Rogue Mechanics. If you're an avid fan of this channel or of Ultimate Custom Night, you may already know about this detail, but in fact, the mechanics of a few characters have actually changed after just one day. Nightmare Freddy, Phone Guy, and Foxy were all implemented on April 1st of their specific year, with their behaviors based on incorrect theories, basically using that to disprove them in that moment and then torturing us and William with them. Phone Guy couldn't talk while Springtrap was on the move because, you know, he can't be in two places at once because Phone Guy's supposed to be William, yeah. Nightmare Freddy, when jump scaring you, would actually wake you up for a nightmare for a bit and then you'd fall back to sleep and go back into the game to finally show us that dream theory is wrong. And Foxy would come help you out by blocking a doorway because people thought that Foxy was a good guy. Those are neat ways of disproving theories, but like, really, Scott? You had to use the whole Foxy as a good guy theory and not something more impactful? Like, it's kind of a troll if you ask me. The next day, however, the mechanics were switched to what they are now. Getting close to the end, into number 3, cameras. The beta for FNAF was full of unused or cut features. Some of these were interesting, like the original camera map. While now we see boxes that indicate the rooms where the cameras are located and then lines leading to the other rooms and the hallways and such. Originally, we actually saw the entire layout at once, and we could actually see the directions that the cameras were facing, showing us what we'd really be looking at. I can see how this would be useful, but since the game plays more like a slideshow in a way, instead of the animatronics free roaming, we didn't really need all that information. And the design that we know and love today really kept it simple and accessible, and that's all we really needed. They'll end up in one position on that camera, then they'll be in another, and then like knowing the direction of the camera in this case doesn't really matter. It would have been interesting for sure, and like maybe you could have included that in Security Breach, because that would have been useful. You should have included this in Security Breach. What the hell? I'm mad about this. Like, cause like you just click on the box and then you're like, oh, where's this supposed to be looking? I don't know if it's looking at me or not. Do it! Fix it! Penultimately, into number 2, co-op mode. Believe it or not, FNAF was actually going to include a multiplayer mode. Well, at least in Help Wanted. In the game files, there is a folder called Multiplayer that has several files stored within it. These files are named Character Info Table, MP Game Mode, and so on, suggesting that multiplayer mode was actually planned with this release. But now, it's kind of unclear whether it was intentionally scrapped or maybe saved for a future game or something, maybe to build hype, maybe they were just testing it out. Like, I don't know. Do you have a theory about that? Like, do you know if multiplayer mode is going to return, or no one knows, but like, do you think multiplayer mode is going to return or not, or make an appearance in this game, in Security Breach, or in a future game? What would multiplayer mode look like? Would you play it? Let me know in the comments, okay? My theory is that the multiplayer mode may have been for the trailer, since you can see the hands and the head of the person who's actually playing, but it could be something else. I don't know. Well, I don't know why they wouldn't remove the files from the game, or like why they would call it multiplayer if it was for the trailer and only for the trailer. And finally, in at number 1, the FNAF story we know and love, but also rage at on a daily basis. Just kidding, that's just me. Well, it's a complicated story that makes everyone want to cry, and specifically me cry myself to sleep. It could have been a lot simpler and just straight to the point. 3 games, 1 story. Yes, that's right. In case you missed it in previous videos, the FNAF story was only actually meant to be 3 games long, with William dying in FNAF 3's fire. However, the community thought that the Springtrap jump scare was disappointing, so Scott overcorrected in FNAF 4 with the nightmares. But then we got more confused, so we had to continue. The story could have been 3 games long, okay? Maybe even no book series, no movie, no Fazbear Frights books. Yeah, like how insane is that? That's stupid. This is a 9-game long story that could have been a third of its length. God damn it. This makes me rethink my whole life. Like, is this really what this channel should be covering? Like, I like talking about Skyrim. I love Skyrim. Why can't I talk about Skyrim? Because you don't click on anything that's not FNAF. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Shaw, Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. Click on stuff that's not FNAF on this channel, please.